Okay, question is, uh, why don't we have happiness? Why there is so much struggle on the spiritual path? People, are on their path for years and years and years, and sometimes nothing happens, and sometimes they get a glimpse of it, and then it leaves, and all those things. So the basic understanding that I have is that inside all of us, we have vacuum, nothingness. 99.9999% we are empty. So there is emptiness within us. And this emptiness bothers us. So whenever we go into meditation, we go deep within and we don't see anything. And we are used to seeing things, people, objects, situations. We deal with sansar 24/7, literally, because we live in the life throughout the day, and then we have dreams. We deal with people and objects and all situations in our dreams also. So we are so accustomed to sansar, and there are objects we can hold on to, we can touch, we can obtain, we can run after, we can achieve, we can hold on to, all those kind of things. That's what we are used to, dealing with the material world. But inside, there is emptiness. How can we hold on to the emptiness? What do we run after? What do we aspire for? What kind of goal can we keep? Goal that I'm going into nothingness? So those things bother people. And that's why there is so much discrepancy. Like if you have run after some object or a person or a situation outside, and say out of your 100 objects that you wanted, so you could get 10 of them. Not everybody gets all of them they want anyway. And that's the reason why in sansar people keep running anyway. So say you got 10 objects out of 100 that you wanted, but now you're holding on, you have some security. So you are holding on to them. You know you have something in your hand, and now you're walking in, and suddenly you realize that you have nothing. And Guru kept on telling you that give it up, walk away, walk away, walk away. But how can you walk away? That's what you are holding on to. So you have something to hold on to, but inside you have nothing to hold on to. So this fear kills you. And that's why most of the people have suffering. But if you really look at it, people who are very poor, they have very meager resources in their hands, and they have accepted it. There is really nothing in the life that's going to happen. I'm talking about the different strata of the society where they have no hope. They just make basically every day's living, and they pull on from day to day, meal to meal, and one cloth they may be holding on to for weeks or years, who knows, right? There's so much poverty. So in poverty, you really have nothing to let go in meditation. So if they sit down to meditate, they have kind of harmony. Outside, they're basically close to shunya, and they have no hopes to gain anything. And inside, they have shunya. So they have harmony. So that's why frequently you will see that people who are poor, they have nothing, they're happy. So because they don't have to deal with these conflicts, right? So inside is shunya, outside is almost like shunya, and they have nothing to really run after. They have nothing to aspire for because they don't have any resources, and they are in a different strata of the society where there's nothing much happening. But when things start changing and people start making more money, now they have more things to hold on to. So when they try to go into the deep states of meditation, they have a lot to lose. All our thoughts are because of what? Thoughts are about the people, objects, situations that we think we own, we connect, and that's all we think about. When you have nothing, literally, then we have nothing to think about. So it's easier to go into samadhi state because you're transitioning from nothingness to nothingness. But as you see in America and more Western countries where where we have so much possessions. So more possessions becomes a hindrance of going into nothingness, because now you're going from a higher stratum of the society to inside, where there is nothingness. And there is no way to get the outside objects into us. If you smell a rose, what are you taking in? The rose, you put it away. You're not putting inside your brain. All you're remembering is the enjoyment that you had from smelling the beautiful fragrance of the rose. But the rose itself doesn't go in. You may have $1 million in your bank account, but that doesn't go in your brain either. It just hold on to the knowledge that you own $1 million. At the end of the day, our possessions are in the form of impressions in our mind, that I have this and I have that. That's it. That's all there is. Throughout the life, we are playing with the impressions, nothing else, nothing more and nothing less. Just like I used to collect the stamps. At that time, every little stamp I see from uncles or aunts or her, they collected from me, and I had excitement. And then suddenly I outgrew it. Now it doesn't really bother me. Even if you give me million stamps, I'm not going to spend time to deal with them. But at that time, all I was carrying was the impressions of all those stamps, just like kids over here. What do? They have baseball cards. They compare, they look at this, look at that, look at that. But the cards remain right where they are. I had one patient, she had 2 sons. One son really did very well, and another son, unfortunately, ended up in drugs and ended up on the streets and became homeless, and they didn't even know where he is and all that. So one day she walks in with 2 bags into my office. I said, what are you bringing? He says, Doc, you hold on to that. That's yours now. I said, what are these? So there were 2 bags full of baseball cards. And he says, I have nothing to do with it. And their son, he says, my son used to deal with it, but now that's not part of his life anymore. So all these impressions he was carrying, when he must have went after one card after another to another, and he collected so many of thousands of cards. And that was not just the first time. Every time she came, she brought 2 bags, and I passed it on to my son. And now he's into that, and now he's coming out of it. Now he's passing on to the children, and he doesn't even have time to look at them. So priorities change. And what happens at the end of your life? All these impressions fold into nothingness, and we walk away. We're not taking anything. So outside world, there is no way to really bring into your inner being. What is in your inner being? Paramatma, the nothingness. There is only shunyata, but we don't care about it. Why? Because we are so busy filling the whole sansar into our mind, which is not practical. It's never going to happen, but we don't realize. And in fact, the more you possess, the more empty you will feel, because now you have a dichotomy. You have a lot outside and you have nothing inside. To go from a lot to nothingness is more painful than going from nothingness to nothingness. So what do? We cease existing. We don't achieve anything. We don't accumulate anything. No. Go ahead and do whatever you need to do, but meditate and realize this fact that there is the outside world cannot fill and make you contented inside. The contentment has to be within, and inside is all shunya state, and shunya state is Paramatma. And so what you need to do is go in, find this shunya state, and become one with it. That is the only way. Only Paramatma, only the consciousness, only the godliness can give you contentment. It's impossible, because he is inside, and he's going to stay inside. Whether you recognize him or not, that's your prerogative. You can spend your whole life running after this objects, people, and situations. They were never going to be yours. But if you understand this, then your outside race is going to get weaker and weaker. That doesn't mean you don't own things. You own things, but knowing that you don't own this, whether they are yours, so it doesn't matter. At some point, everybody walks out of the baseball cards also. I walked out my stamps also, all those collections, and that's all we're doing. As you grow older, your toys change. When you're young, you're dealing with small toy cars, and then you deal with the bigger cars. But still, at the end of the day, those cars also you walk away from. So when you have things in your life and you realize that you are not the owner, you are only temporary user of those things, then your attachment to those things disappear. That, okay, whatever is there, I'll enjoy, and whatever is not there, I'm not going to run after. Whatever God has given me, I'll enjoy it, no problem. But I'll not make a big deal about it, that I have so much and I want more and all those things. So then all of a sudden, your thought activities will go down. You will start realizing that whatever I have, I cannot count it as my wealth, because it's not yours. So when it's not your wealth, you're down to zero state, shunya state, outside even. When your outside life becomes shunya, that nobody is yours and nothing is yours, there is nothing to gain in this world, nothing to lose in this world, you have tremendous amount of peace. It's not because of disowning those things, because now your outside life is in a shunya state. You are in a shunya state, outside and inside, which is always going to be there. Is always, this is the real truth of life, that we are all shunya. So now you're reaching out and synchronizing with your true nature. The true nature is emptiness. And that's when the harmony comes in and the peace and contentment comes in. All right. So much for today.